Look at this. One of these is a knife with a revolver hidden inside the handle. The other is a rifle built from titanium and magnesium that will never be made again. Both of them are brand new in 2026. And they're not even the wildest things on this list. This year, gun makers are betting big on weird. Not gimmick weird, genuinely creative, pushing the envelope weird. And buyers are eating it up. We've got 10 new releases to break down. From concealed carry contenders to military prototypes pulled out of history books. Stick around, because number 6 on this list shouldn't even be legal. Oh wait, it barely is. Let's get after it. All right, first up, the gun knife. The Meligun MG-22. I know what you're thinking. A knife with a gun in it? That's mall ninja stuff. And honestly, I had the same reaction. But hear me out. This is a fixed blade with a 6-shot 22 LR revolver built right into the handle. Overall length is 12 inches. The blade is 6.7 inches of hardened 440C stainless steel. The barrel, 3.5 inches with 6-groove rifling and a 1 in 16 right-hand twist. Frame is 420 stainless, and the grip panels are machined 7075 aluminum. There's a manual trigger, a manual safety, and it holds 6 rounds of 22 LR ready to go. Here's where it gets interesting legally. The MG-22 is classified as an AOW, any other weapon, under the National Firearms Act. That means you don't need a tax stamp to own one, but you do need to go through the ATF paperwork and buy it through a Class 3 SOT dealer. No direct shipping, no skipping the process. Base price is $1,499. You can add custom knurling, a black oxide blade finish, or engrave up to 15 characters. If you want more punch, there's also the MG-25 in 25 ACP. Is it practical? Probably not your primary anything, but as a conversation starter that also happens to be a functional firearm and a real blade, nothing else on the market is doing this. My verdict? Collector's piece. Pure and simple, but a cool one. Now let's talk about the complete opposite end of the spectrum, the Beretta Titan. This thing exists because Beretta just turned 500 years old, half a millennium. And to celebrate, they built a one-off semi-auto sporting rifle that uses materials most gun makers wouldn't even consider. The upper receiver is titanium. The lower is magnesium. The stock and forend are carbon fiber. The pistol grip is forged carbon. 4 different exotic materials in one gun. Beretta says no product they've ever made has combined all 4. It's chambered in 6.5 Grendel, runs a short-stroke gas piston system with an adjustable gas valve, and has a 2-stage trigger tuned for a clean, predictable break. That piston system puts it in the same class as the FN SCAR and SIG MCX, not your standard direct impingement AR. The catch? There's no MSRP because there's no production run. This is a single rifle. One. That's it. You can't buy it, nobody can. It's a statement piece. And honestly, it's Beretta flexing after 5 centuries of making firearms. Worth drooling over? Absolutely. Worth waiting for? Don't hold your breath. But it tells you where high-end rifle design is headed. Lighter, stiffer, and way more expensive. Speaking of things people have been waiting for, the Benelli M4 EXT finally gives civilians what the Marines have had for years. Quick history. The original Benelli M4 was adopted by the Marine Corps as the M1014 Joint Service Combat Shotgun, best semi-auto combat shotgun ever made, according to a lot of people. But the civilian version was always missing a few things. The magazine tube was capped at 5 rounds. The collapsible stock was replaced with a fixed, look-alike on some models. Little things that added up. The M4 EXT fixes all of that. You get the full 7-round magazine tube right out of the box. The 5-position collapsible stock is the real deal this time, with a QD sling mount built in. There's a new oversized bolt release that's actually usable with gloves on. And everything else? The Argo gas system, the 18.5-inch barrel, the Ghost Ring sights, the Picatinny rail, all carried over because none of it needed changing. It comes in black, multicam, titanium Cerakote, or FDE Cerakote. MSRP is $2,599. Yeah, it's not cheap, but name another semi-auto shotgun with this track record. I'll wait. Drop a comment if you think the M4 is still the king of combat shotguns. I want to hear your pick. Alright, switching gears to handguns. KelTec dropped the KP50, and it's exactly the kind of thing you'd expect from them, which means it's nothing you'd expect from anyone else. Think of it as the P50's smarter, younger sibling. Same 5.7 by 28mm chambering, same P90 magazines, same 50-round capacity. But the magazines now insert from the bottom, and they're drop-free. That was the biggest complaint about the P50. Reloading was awkward. Problem solved. The KP50 has a machined lower receiver, uses a Kel-Tec SU16 trigger group, and comes with a 9.6-inch barrel, right in the sweet spot for 5.7 by 28. The muzzle is threaded half by 28 with an A2 flash hider. Up top, there's a Picatinny rail for optics that breaks around the ejection port. Controls are AR style, non-reciprocating rear charging handle, ambidextrous safety, and a new paddle mag release in front of the trigger guard. KelTec is offering 4 configurations starting at $899. The Defender model goes for $1,349 and is exclusive to KelTec's own store. 50 rounds of 5.7 in a package this compact? At this price? That's genuinely hard to beat on paper. Next, HK finally built the crossover pistol everyone wanted. The VP9A1X sits right between the compact VP9A1K and the full-size VP9A1F. It takes the 4-inch barrel and slide from the K model and mates it to the full-size F frame. You get a standard 17-round capacity in a shorter overall package. All the A1 updates are here. Revised grip frame with an integral magwell, nickel Teflon coated trigger bar for smoother pulls and corrosion resistance. Enhanced controls across the board. It's optics ready out of the box. And if you want a threaded barrel, the VP9A1X Tactical is available too. MSRP for the standard X is $1,049. The tactical model with the 4.7-inch threaded barrel runs $1,149. For HK money, that's actually reasonable. Is it the best carry-to-duty crossover on the market? That's a real debate. But at minimum, it belongs in the conversation. Now here's one for the history buffs. PSA's retro brand. Harrington and Richardson just brought back the Model 606. If you don't know what that is, you're not alone. Most people don't. Back in the mid-1960s, the original Colt Model 606 was a heavy-barrel AR designed as a squad automatic weapon candidate. The military passed on it. Very few were ever made. And the ones that survived became extremely rare collector pieces. The H&R 606 is a semi-auto recreation with a 20-inch heavy barrel profile in 5.56 NATO. You get a slick side upper, partial fence M16 lower, M16A1 triangular handguards, and an M2 bipod pinned right to the barrel, just like the original. The barrel is chrome-lined with a 1-in-7 twist, and the 3-prong flash hider is threaded half by 28, so it's suppressor ready. The whole rifle weighs about 9 pounds. It ships with a 20-round magazine and comes in either black or gray. MSRP is around $1,250. For that kind of money, you're getting a piece of military firearms history that you can actually shoot. This is the kind of release that makes retro AR guys lose sleep. Alright, revolver fans, Taurus added 350 Legend to the Raging Hunter lineup. 2 models, identical except for barrel length. You've got a 10.5-inch option and a 14-inch option. Either one puts more energy on target than what you'd get from Smith & Wesson's 7.5-inch 350 Legend revolver. Both have 6-round cylinders, fiber optic sights, Picatinny rails on top and bottom, muzzle brakes, cushioned rubber grips, and non-fluted cylinders for extra weight to help manage recoil. MSRP for either barrel length is about $1,534. Straight-walled cartridges and revolvers make a lot of sense for states with straight-wall hunting restrictions. If you're in the Midwest and you've been waiting for something like this, here you go. Time for something truly one of a kind. A gunsmith named Mike Sorey took a Thompson Center G2 Contender, a single-shot break-action pistol, and turned it into an over and under with two completely different rimfire calibers. 17 HMR on top, 17 WSM on the bottom. The existing selector switch that normally toggles between rimfire and centerfire was reworked to choose between the upper and lower barrels. There's a dual extractor that pulls both cases at once, and the bottom barrel has a built-in regulator so you can dial in where both rounds converge at whatever distance you want. At 50 yards, both calibers were hitting the same hole. The craftsmanship is insane. Hand-fitted custom grip, jeweled internals, Argyle barrel engraving done by a separate craftsman, a multi-step matte finish that looks like it belongs in a museum. This is a one-of-one handmade piece. You can't buy it off a shelf, but it proves what's possible when someone with serious skills decides to push a classic platform into territory nobody else has explored. Here's a question. Would you pay custom gun money for something this unique? Or is it too niche? Let me know below. Wrapping up with the Rost Martin RM1S Comp and the Chiappa Rhino in 44 mag. The RM1S Comp is a compensated subcompact 9 that keeps the same footprint as a standard RM1S. It runs a 3.6-inch crowned hammer-forged barrel with comp cuts in both the barrel and slide to tame muzzle flip. The frame is shortened compared to the RM1C, 4.4 inches tall, 6.72 inches long, 19.76 ounces. You get a 12-round flush-fit mag and a 15-round extended mag. It's optics ready with an RMR plate included. At $489, this is one of the most affordable comp carry guns on the market right now. Rost Martin hasn't been around long, but they're clearly paying attention to what the market wants. And finally, Chiappa put 44 Magnum into the Rhino platform. The L-Frame 60DS has a 6-inch barrel, 6-round cylinder, and fires from the bottom chamber like every Rhino. That low bore axis sends recoil straight back instead of flipping the muzzle up. The frame is 7075 T6 aluminum to keep weight manageable, with a steel barrel and breech shield where strength matters. You get fiber optic sights front and rear. Rear is fully adjustable. Picatinny rails on top and bottom, and Hogue rubber grips. It weighs just under 3 pounds and measures 11 inches overall. 3 safety systems are built in: cylinder block, rotation lock, and hammer block. Available in black, white nickel, or gold PVD. Prices range from $1,470 to $1,745 depending on finish. Here's the real question. Does the Rhino's bottom-firing design actually tame 44 mag enough to make it a comfortable range gun? Or is 44 mag just always going to be 44 mag? That's the debate. I think it helps, a lot. But I'm not calling it soft. Not with that much energy leaving the barrel. So that's the list. 10 firearms from 2026 that prove the industry isn't just churning out the same thing year after year. You've got knife guns and titanium rifles and military prototypes brought back from the dead. Some of these are practical, some are art, a few are both. If any of these caught your eye, hit subscribe so you don't miss the deep dives coming on a few of them. And if you had to pick just one from this list to take home today, which one would it be? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. I'll see you in the next one.